What is up, guys? We have a special show tonight. Tonight, again, we are chasing tone, and I'm really wanting you guys to come forward and explain to me. I can't watch the chat 100%, but everyone that joins the show and is watching, everyone's trying to get the best sound they can out of the equipment that they have. So if everyone wants to post, I don't care how you guys do it, the amp you have, the tone that you're chasing. What is it? The Eddie Van Halen sound? Is it the George Lynch sound? Is it Zach Wilde? Or is it an older tone? Like Molly Hatchet, something like that. Iron Maiden. A lot of these bands, Boston, I qualify Boston because the guitarist had a unique sound, okay? Eddie Van Halen, unique sound. I think Guns N' Roses, during that Slash, unique sound. You don't necessarily always have to like these artists and the sound they had, but when the music came on, the sound and the cadence of what those bands did, it was instantly recognizable. That's Boston. That's Guns N' Roses. That's Iron Maiden. Rush, unique sound. It doesn't matter if you've heard the Rush song or not. Within 30 seconds, you're like, wow, that kind of sounds like Rush. So that's what we're here to talk about. What is it that you guys are inspiring to get tone-wise out of your amp? And the next question is, if you're inspiring to get that sound, do you have the equipment that artist has? Are you trying to find out what did he use? What preamp did he use? What speakers did he use? What pedals or rack equipment was he using? Have you went that far, or are you just using a modeler and you're trying to emulate that sound? So I want to kind of go over, we made some changes. Last night, if you watched the stream, I had two different microphones on my stereo cabinet. And when I was trying to blend it, I was getting a certain tone out of the one and a certain tone out of the other, but it's a stereo cabinet. So I found myself killing my stereo feed because I was chasing a balance between the two microphones. What I've done tonight is I have two, let me move my microphone. I have two SM57s on the Celestion greenback cabinet, right here and right here. The microphone that you see right here, let me punch it up and tell you what that one is. The microphone that you see right here is an SE7, okay? And then off camera, off axis, now some people do an off axis microphone. So our off axis microphone is this one right here. Again, that's another SA microphone. That one, well, both the SA microphones are phantom power. The other one is an X1A. So this is an X1A. And mic position really does affect what you're capturing, whether you're capturing it on reel-to-reel, ADAT, you've got a hard disk recorder, you're going to Reaper, or you're old school and you've got a Tascam D8 or a TRS-8. It doesn't really matter. Your microphone placement really makes all the difference in the world. You want to try to get as close as you can to what you're looking for when you put it on the tape or Reaper or whatever you're doing to store your track. Try to get it as close as you can. That way your post-processing, you're not over EQing, you want it close. The more you alter it on the back end, the more you're altering it, you're getting further away from the root signal. So I want to try it, and we're gonna play the Schecter tonight. And all these settings, I will go over the settings. The SM57s are, let me move the mic so I don't The SM57s, both of them, are at negative 0.5. The SAX1A, which is off axis and it sets back about 5 foot from the cabinet, it's at negative 8.7. The SE7, that's directly in front of the cabinet but 4 foot away, is at 8.5. And that's not the whole story. The SAX1A has a gain input of 20 dB. Our SE7 microphone has a input gain of 20 dB. Now, my SM57 on the left, for whatever reason, I've got to get the gain to 25 dB to match the other one. The other one's set to 22.5. There seems to be a variance between these two, and that could be in the cable. I didn't pay attention to which cable I was running, but there is a 2.5% difference in the channel gain. But they're reading and they're peaking out in the meter exactly the same. I'm assuming that it's the cable. So cables do make a difference. So let's unmute the microphones and let's see what we got. There is no IR. There are nothing in the wing rack. There's no compression, no EQ, nothing. The only thing, I'm just using the line gain and the channel slider, and it's going right to the main, into the end. Squirrel moment. Whatever the darn thing is that converts it to go to YouTube interface. So there's no, all the processing is pre. It's on that side. So here's what we've got, and I did mess with the gain just a little bit. I'm going to let that get caught up. You know, I'm getting a couple of my guitars have getting dough, and I'm going to see what you guys are thinking. I guess I should start a poll. How do I start a poll? I used to know how to start a poll. Engage with your audience. Start a poll. So I'm going to start a poll, guys. You guys can answer. I'm just going to put, like the tone of the rack amp, and I'm just going to leave it yes and no. I think that's about all that we need to do, and I'm going to hit start the poll. So before the stream is over, I want you guys to please answer the poll up there, and that's real simple. You either like the tone or you dislike the tone. We're painting with a broad brush here. Right? You know, the tone changes when you plug a different guitar into it. Plug a telly in, it's going to be a little thinner. This guitar is pretty thick. The Ibanez is a more mid-focused guitar with the quantum pickups. So I'm trying to, the tone that I'm using, I've always used. I did make a change in the gain. Like I said, I brought the gain back. But if you hear a tonal quality tonight, it is all about mic positioning, okay, and changing to SM57s. I know there's people out there that just hate SM57s. There's other mics that some people prefer. I'm using what I have. I bought the SAs. What are they? The SE7s. I bought a stereo pair thinking I would like them more. And last night during the stream, kind of going back between the SE7 and the 57. I kind of liked the 57 better. It sounded smoother. It sounded like it liked being a guitar mic. The SE7 sounded a little thin, tinny, and a little bright. I don't have any experience with that brand. I was just trying to get a different microphone. It doesn't matter because I'm not going to use that microphone solely. I can use that to accent tone over here, if that makes sense. So sometimes if you've got a mic and you may not like the sound, okay, and you go out and buy another mic, don't toss that other mic away. You might be surprised adding the new mic and trying to add your old mic that you didn't like. You might find something that, a blend that you wasn't thinking of. If you're limited and you don't have the capability of doing that, then yeah, you're going to have to find one good mic. Yeah.
Mullet says, can you demonstrate moving of the 57s?
I can. The issue, let me switch cameras here. The 57s are on see that steel rod that goes across the mic stand? So the 57s are on that steel rod. So there's not enough separation between the two microphones to get them on the outer edges of the cone facing the edge of the cone. So what I've done is I have them just a little bit above the edge of the cone, pointed down just a little bit. So to get it ideal, I can probably angle them just a little bit more. A lot of people like, to have the end of the microphone at a 90-degree angle to the cone. So let me make that adjustment and see if it makes a change. Okay, now the microphones, I kind of pointed them out just a little bit. Okay, I did a little bit of this, and then I brought them down and I raised it. So now the microphone is putting right at the surround of the driver. Okay, and it's a little off center. I'm not a sound engineer. I did sound for the bands I was in, but I was far from a sound engineer, guys. So I just know what I heard from being a session musician for about 2 years and being out on the road for a little while, working with this sound guy. And what I came across going out and playing, everyone had an opinion on how to do it. And I guess that opinion was shaped on the equipment that they had, and I never second guessed it because it was their bar. That was the sound guy. You play the cards that you're dealt, if that makes sense. So let's try the new setting. What I hear there, I like the mid sound better, but I noticed I was getting a low end something you guys might not hear it on that end, but I felt like I was getting a low end artifact. Maybe it's translating better to YouTube. My ear is hearing something peculiar right in the. It's not low because the guitar is not a low instrument. In the lower pass. I mean, I could live with that. What I'm hearing in my headphones would be good enough for any sound engineer to fix on their side before it goes out to the audience. I think that would be good enough. But I'm just hearing a little something. I can't explain it. If anyone else hears the difference, guys, you're talking little tiny changes. How many people actually heard the difference there?
Jupe says sounds way better, and Backwoods Billy says, yeah, you sound darker now.
Yeah, it's got a little darker sound. Your mic placement is 100%. You know, when you're in the room and you're listening to your amplifier, you're not getting a direct response from the driver. The sound is bouncing off the ceiling, it's bouncing off the floor, it's bouncing off the walls. You get a little room reverb. When you put that microphone right up on the speaker, that microphone gets none of that.
Billy said darker tone, extremely light buzz as well.
Yeah, I'm hearing the buzz too. I don't know if that's what I'm hearing on the low end. A lot of that could just be my sloppy playing. I think part of it may be, again, I'm not turning off this microphone.
Steve said, I think it sounds great.
This microphone does influence it. So let me try that. I'm going to go and turn off this microphone. I'm sure you guys are going to hear a difference. This microphone is on the other side of the room from the cabinet, so it's picking up a lot of wall reflection. So let's hear it without my microphone on, and you're just hearing the four mics over there. Three times missing that note. There seems to be a difference in the harmonic as well. know, playing the trick stuff, if you don't do it a lot, it's actually kind of difficult to make sure that you always resolve something right. I like it. I'm going to try it again. I kind of screwed up. I hit the wrong button. So I'm going to try it again without this microphone. That was actually on last time.
Jupe said still sounds good both ways, just fuller with the mic on.
Yeah, that time, believe it or not, this mic was on. So let me turn this one off again. All in all, I don't think it's bad. It is definitely something that a sound guy could work with. If I was out playing in a bar, I'm going to be honest with you, the SGX has a wet-dry mix slider. If I was in a bar playing, there's two ways that you can wire this. It has different outputs. Right there, that knob is a wet-dry mix knob that controls how much wet and dry goes to front of house, okay? If I wasn't using the cabinet. That, you almost have to use an IR, okay? Back in the day, you would run that to, I guess it was a direct box, and without an IR and without the amp, it always sounded kind of weird. So what I would do now is I would use that knob and I would put my effects on it, okay, my IR, and I would run that to, it's headphone out. I would probably run that to a small Class D amplifier to my monitor on stage and keep my dry signal on my cabinet and have the sound guy engineer it that way.
Mullet says
that way I still hear my tone in my headphones.
You have a flanger in that rack?
I'm pretty sure in this setting, I can go over, I don't have a mic over there, that's the issue. There's going to be expander, chorus. What you're hearing is a chorus. There's going to be a gate, noise gate in it. There's an equalizer in it, a little bit of reverb, and then there's a plate reverb and a multi-tap delay. And the chorus I'm using is a tri-stereo chorus. So it's actually three choruses stacked on top of one another, and it pans back and forth. It's not a lot. It's about 20% in the mix. But if I turn it, there's a lot of chorus, okay? But the wet-dry mix is about 20%. Plus, this over here is set at only at about 35%. So the total chorus getting to it, it's not overkill, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of chorus. Need to tune, hold on. Nope, that's just me not knowing how to fret a guitar. I do that a lot, guys. I'm a pretty aggressive player. And sometimes I'll hit a chord and I'm like, oh, the guitar's out. But I'm so aggressive, I've actually pinched the note and I'm pushing and I'm bending the strings on the neck and I'm not doing it evenly. Okay? So it's throwing my chord out of tune. I try to pride myself in bending chords. I try to bend it evenly. That way it's moving together. But sometimes I just mess up and I'll look over and go, okay, it's out of tune.
Steve said, I'm still of the opinion that the IR sounds great. If it's easier, just use it.
Yeah, I think, guys, I really do think the IR is good because I keep forgetting to turn this mic off when I play. With the IR, I don't have that issue. Does it feel different in here? Absolutely. I mean, when I'm playing the tube amp, it just feels, well, I'm immersed in sound. I like the way it sounds. I don't, do we have a cable for the dB meter, honey? Do we have I think it's USB-C to USB. Do we have an extra one laying around? Hold on for a second, guys.
I don't know.
I do have an extra cable. I have a decibel meter right here, and we're going to see what, it's not overly loud in here. The amp will sound better if I crank it up. So let me plug that in. Oh. Well, the one that I thought I was going to use, I probably can't use. And there's not one over here. Can I steal the one on the laptop? Is that a USB-C to... We're going to figure it out,
No,
guys.
that's C to C.
It's C to C. Well, that's not going to work. Well, let me move it, and I'll unplug the camera. And I'll just set it. I'm going to set it over here. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is kind of going to be a little unfair. Okay. There's our meter, so you guys can hear when I talk. That's the quiet room. Now me talking. Okay. Now I'm going to turn on the amplifier, and that'll give you guys an idea of the volume in the room. It's not overly loud. Of course, I am half deaf. Any constructive criticism, if you're new to the channel and you're just popping in, we're trying to be different here.
Kurt said turn it up till the dB reads 110.
I can probably blow the meter. That amplifier is at maybe 1/8 volume. It's stupid loud. I mean, I can get, it's still, what time is it? Yeah, I can turn it up. My neighbors, I have until about 8 o'clock before my neighbors really get pissed. Now, if I turn it up, it changes all my inputs. Let me see here. I am going to go safe, and I'm going to turn them down. And this is 100% of a guess. So let me go over and change the volume on the amplifier. If I can walk.
Potentially Work said, would you consider yourself very good at sanding and smoothing guitar necks? I heard you talking about sanding and smoothing necks.
Yeah, we have a couple videos on reshaping guitar necks. If Jupe's in the audience, he can share his thoughts on his Schecter. We reshaped the neck on his Schecter. You gotta be careful what you do, because once you remove the material, you can't put it back. So we have another guitar downstairs, a Leo James, that we're getting ready to do some reshaping. And unless you're familiar with the product, you can also run into issues with truss rod placement. So unless you have a sacrificial guitar that you can actually know exactly where that truss rod is, I really don't recommend taking more than like 2.5, 3 millimeters off your neck. You need to leave enough material on the backside of that truss rod so you don't have problems in the future.
Jupe said, Avery, when rocks fly through your window, then you know the neighbors are angry. Until then, worry not.
All right, well, let's see how loud. I'll only move the knob just a little bit. That is considerably louder in the room. And that was a pretty good guess. I'm going to turn the knobs down a little bit on the channels. And we're going to crank it up a little bit more. And the funny honey's going to throw me out of the house if I... So I'm going to guesstimate right there. I'm changing my input on those 4 mics. Now let me go over and turn the amp up again. Well, this is going to be stupid loud. I got a feeling, guys, this is going to be pretty freaking loud. Now, the microphone on that is facing me. Just putting it out there. I am not going to play long at this volume. The difference is the guitar responds differently at loud volumes. Like, I don't have to work as hard to get the sustain and the trick notes and stuff. The amplifier is pushing across the room and hitting it. We don't quite have the 100 dB, so I am going to give it one more tweak, and then that's it, guys. My neighbors will get pissed. Is it too loud yet, honey?
No, you're okay.
And just so everyone knows, this is a 50-watt amplifier, and it's true 50 watts. I am just a little past a quarter on volume. So it's quite the beefy amp. It's quite loud. And you noticed as I'm turning it up, now I'm starting to get at that one. I noticed a little rumble on the low end. So everything you do is going to change it. I'm going to go back over and lower the amp. It's still early. I mean, I actually have pretty good neighbors. I don't think I play that loud when I'm here at the house. But I'm probably, now looking at the meter when I was playing around, I'm probably playing at 90, 92 decibels in the house during the day. And my neighbors don't say anything. I don't normally, I'm not going to say I haven't played that loud. I've played louder here, but it's at 12 or 1 o'clock, and I don't do it for long. I turn it up just to see if I can make the windows in the house vibrate. All right, let me turn it back down. So I am 100% sure, I'm going to open up the chat, that you guys, you could hear the tone. Now, I'm not just talking about necessarily the sound. You can hear how the bottom end and the high end changed. I didn't change the mic positions. All I did was increase the volume of the amplifier, and I decreased the input on the microphones.
Before I forget, can you give an update on the Iceman?
Iceman update. Did not work on it this weekend because we streamed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I had scaffolding on the back of my house. I took Saturday, took all the scaffolding down on the back side of my house. It looked like a construction site. And the reason I was late to the stream is I was outside moving the scaffolding over onto the solar panel array, propping it up on that, and putting the cross X's in I've got a solar panel array. It's got a big frame.
You made dinner late.
So it made dinner late, and that's why I was on late. So this weekend I had spring cleaning outside. It needed it. And I've got a bunch of 2x10s and 2x4s and some stuff I had up on the scaffolding for sheet goods to lay on. I did not get the chance to cut all that stuff up and put it in the van and get to the dump. So next weekend, I get the lovely job of chopping up all the wood that was supporting plywood that was on the scaffolding. So I need to get all that out of the backyard. The scaffolding had been on the house for so long, it was becoming unstable on the cinder blocks. And I was really tired of mowing around it. So I took it down. When I get up to the roof and I cut the roof open for the rear dormer, I'm going to have everything on site and ready to do the work. I'm not gonna procrastinate 3 years like last time. When the material gets here, I'll put the scaffolding back up, put the dormer on the house, and I'll be done with it. So that's the update. I apologize to Devastator, but it's been crazy. When you own a home, you've got to maintain it too. So it's a balance between work, music, YouTube streaming for you guys, and then work here. So this stream was more about, again, we're trying to be the most honest channel on YouTube. Your sound is dependent on so many things. Do I want to say that your guitar doesn't matter, your amp doesn't matter? It all matters. But if you have a really great guitar and a really great amplifier and you mic it wrong, it can still sound bad. But in the same token, you can have a so-so amplifier and a so-so guitar, and a good sound guy or you yourself can mic it and record it and really make the thing sound good. That brings you to the next conclusion. Is it worth buying expensive guitars and tube amps when you can buy a $500 or $600 guitar and a decent modeler and do your recording right to Reaper and stuff like that? I can answer part of that. Some people would say they hate digital. They still like recording on reel-to-reel tape. It's warmer. The exact same thing when it comes to modelers. Some people hate modelers. They want the sound of a tube amp. I think you do you. And at the end of the day, as long as we have music to enjoy, what difference does it make? I know when I listen to a band, I'm not sitting there going, I wonder if that's a modeler or a crappy tube amp. Or I bet you that's a tube amp and not a crappy modeler. I bet you that guy's running SM57s and not them crappy SA mics. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking, hey, I dig the song. The guy's got a kick butt tone and he can play guitar. That's pretty much all I think. This stream was about you guys coming on, telling everybody what your rig is, the guitar you're playing, and the sound that you're shooting for.
Fox said you're good, Avery. You have easily the most honest review channel on YouTube, hands down.
Thank you, man. Our goal is to stay the most honest review channel on YouTube. And you notice on some, YouTube is flagging some of our reviews and putting links in there for you guys. I have no affiliate with Guitar Center or Sweetwater. Okay, one, the channel's not big enough. So one, I don't care whether you click on the link and buy the instrument or not, but if you are thinking about buying it, at least use the link. YouTube will kick me a little money. YouTube is the affiliate. So does that take me out? It doesn't. A lot of channels still use that and they praise it up, hoping that you'll buy the instrument because they're trying to make a living on YouTube. I don't make a living on YouTube. I don't depend on YouTube to keep the electricity on here. So the affiliate link is 100% up to you. Would it be nice? Yeah, sure. It would be nice to make more than $150 or $160 a month on YouTube. That's about what we average, okay? Now think about your all super chats. That's almost all super chats. It's actually quite ridiculous. But again, that part of that's my fault. You guys don't see a commercial. And my little squirrel brain forgets to go back and hit the monetize button. Sometimes the live stream will go a week before I hit monetize. At that point, everyone that's knows the channel has already watched it, so there's going to be no views there anyway, unless it's a review. It's difficult, guys. It is. So that keeps me honest, and Discord keeps me honest. There's a group of people here that I really count on their input, and they keep me in check, if that makes sense. They keep me to the point where, no, this is what people need to see in a review. You're doing fine. Or Avery, don't take this too far. You're going to end up going down a path, and you're going to, maybe end up like another channel. And we're trying to be different. So if you haven't already, guys, and you're new to the stream, please go down, hit the thumbs up button, and consider subscribing. We're trying to do content that I feel everyone likes, and it's going to be usable for people, that's chasing a dream. If you're chasing a sound and you're out playing, mic placement is everything. You can spend hours and hours and hours with your amplifier and get the perfect tone. When you go out and play and that sound guy mics it, it's going to be different. Just brace yourself for whatever you think sounds good is most likely not what that sound engineer is going to do. He's going to have control of the microphone. He's going to do what he feels works best for the mix. So that's what I always tell people. If you can, try to get your sound either in a monitor on the stage to where you can hear your sound, and try to give the sound engineer something that he can work with to make the band as a group sound good. We're just kind of going over microphones and why, when we do streams, do I use modelers? And I use modelers, well, it's loud, and I have to turn on and off this mic to ensure that the amp sound stays consistent. And like Steve was saying, that using the rectifier on this and then going into the hour up pedal to the wing, I think everyone can agree it sounded good too. Is it cheating because I'm not running a true cabinet? I guess. That doesn't not make it a tube amp. It's still a tube amp. I'm still getting the tube amp sound, the tube power amp sound. I'm just skipping the speaker and running that signal into an IR pedal that's emulating a cabinet. I think it's cool because I'm running 4 greenback Celestions. The IR I ran is 4 greenback Celestions, and you guys are saying it sounds very similar. So that's letting me know that if I load an IR to this pedal, let's say I want to see Mojo Tone speakers, and before I spend $400 on 2 Mojo speakers, maybe I could download an IR and see, am I going to like these speakers? Is it going to be a little different? Sure. But if I download the IR, at least maybe I'll have a perception of what those drivers will sound like before I purchase them. If you guys have ever done that, please post. Have you ever thought about doing it? Before you purchase a speaker, load the IR into your, like what I'm doing, still using your tube amp, but you're using the IR to emulate the cabinet. Have you went down that road and said, okay, I want to hear what this Mojo sounds. I want to hear what this Eminence sounds like. You're like, okay, I like the Eminence. You order the Eminence, you put it in the cabinet. Did you get a good result? Did the IR give you enough information and you made that purchase and then you bought the driver and it sounded right to you? Does it sound like the IR? I think we got a lot of tools nowadays, and I'm stubborn. A lot of people are stubborn. We don't want to change. We've gotten kind of used to how we do things. And I say that because I just recently went from an analog mixing board to a Behringer wing rack. And I'm not going to say that I love the wing rack in every possible way. I like the utilitarian form of the Mackie BLZ. There's a knob. I can kind of look over and I can see everything. With the Behringer wing, I've got a small screen, and I can only see 8 channels at a time. I do not have a separate monitor with the wing up on the monitor. So before anyone makes a comment, I don't have that. It is capable of doing that. But even at that rate, there's still hidden things.
Timmy said YouTube compresses.
Yeah, YouTube does compress the signal. So, I'm going to go back and listen to the stream. Remember, guys, what I hear is completely different, especially when we were at 100 decibels on the floor. At that point, I no longer heard anything in my headphone. All I heard was the amp in the room. Okay? So, when I'm trying to set microphones, I'm hearing the amp in the room and the signal in the headphones. That's why you'll hear some people talk about ISO cabs. I don't have an ISO cab. I don't have a basement that I can sound insulate the room, set the cabinet down there and put a mic in front of, and just crank the living piss out of it to get that sound and have mics down there. Then it's not influenced in my headphones because you can't hear the cabinet up here. You're getting 100% what you hear to EQ and fix is exactly what's going on down in that ISO cab room. I don't have that. So the cabinet's firing right into my headphones. So it's not a perfect world. And everyone watching the stream that does home recordings, I'm going to say the majority of you all do not have ISO cabs. So this is going to be something that you're going to run into when you're doing your recording. How much of what you hear in the headphone, okay, is being altered by the sound in the room bleeding into what you're hearing, okay? You're getting a mix, if that makes sense. So I think we need to keep that in mind too. I'm going to go and read the chat. Am I missing anything, hon?
No.
Let me see. Oh, Brian Phillips was in. Thank you, Brian. I see that he's leaving. I hope your wife is doing good. I know she was having some issues. Hopefully he's still in the chat. She's in our prayers, man. So that, and look forward to your guitar hopefully on Tuesday. So thanks for coming in. Guys, we're not going to stream long tonight. We just came in to do this. And since it's Sunday, hopefully new people have come in and they've discovered this channel for the first time. If you're here for the first time, please go to the main channel page, click on live, There's a ton of guitar reviews, a ton of, live streams like this where we're testing microphones and going over differences. We actually have a lot of pre-recorded reviews as well. So we have guitar tips on refinishing necks, fretwork, all kinds of neat stuff. There's a ton of information. Every video this channel does, I think, gives some type of solid information. We don't do a video just because the YouTube gods require us to do a video to keep the algorithm happy.
Fox said what you hear is always a mix, and it depends on where you are as to what you hear, in my opinion.
Exactly. That's why we have the one microphone offset from the cabinet. Network Studios was the first place I ever saw that. I said, why are you putting a mic? It's not even free. He goes, well, it's offset from the cabinet. Picks up more imaging from the room. So that was something that I learned from those guys. I would really like to get back into that kind of stuff, guys, and get into going to a studio and seeing what the new guys are doing with the new equipment, how they mic off cabinets. I'm sure a lot is the same, but I'm sure there's a lot that has changed. And I would be really curious to go in and see how things are done now. My experience was 30 some years ago. So in 30 some years, there had to be some advancements, some common techniques that everyone held close, proprietary secrets that this studio or that studio did. Shh, don't tell anybody. That eventually leaked out. Now that's common knowledge. How much is that common knowledge now? I mean, YouTube has changed a lot. Like I get on here and spill my beans on what I'm doing. Wicked Fester, Billy gets on, CD Nelson talks, everyone, Vox talks. We all kind of chime in and say, I do this, I do that. At what point does all the proprietary stuff that used to be a trade secret, it's no longer really not much there? Everyone's already put it out on YouTube. The question is locating it and finding the BS versus what really works. Hopefully you guys look at this and go, it's not BS, it's real world. Whether or not it works or not, if you feel it doesn't work, then you know exactly what not to do. Look at it that way. All right, guys, again, please go down, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. This is a short night, guys. I do have to get up at 4:30 in the morning. And I want to thank everybody that came in on a Sunday to check the channel out, especially the diehard people that I see in the group that are here every night when we go live. Guys, that means so much to me. And hopefully you enjoyed this little experiment. The next stream, I can pretty much guarantee you we will be running the IR on the cabinet. I will not be putting microphones in front of the cabinet. It's just easier for me to have the IR and have this mic on and be able to play without the cabinet in the room affecting this microphone. It's just easier. All right, guys, thank you so much. We are doing our 5-minute ending window. And remember, guys, go over to Discord. Keep the conversation going on over there. You can leave comments. It's not just Discord, guys. Remember, YouTube has to push the video out to other people. So before you go to Discord and you start your long conversation, maybe have a conversation in the comment section of the video. That does help the AI and the algorithm push it out for new people to discover the channel. But Discord's there too for the weeknights that we don't stream. All right, guys, thanks so much. And no, I do not have a Sunday night ending window. So we're just going to use the Saturday night ending window, but everyone knows that it's Sunday. Let me see, where is my Saturday night ending window? I think it's this one. Thanks, guys.